guys, welcome to Milton Township. Why don't we go in the office and have a chat?
Hey, good morning. I'm John Monino with Milton Township and the Township officials of DuPage. I'm here with the Highway Commissioner of Milton Township, Gary Muehlfelt. How are you today, Gary?
Good. How you fellas doing?
We're doing really good. Hey, why don't we jump right into it and talk about your main functions of Township Highway Department?
Township Highway Department is Milton Township Highway Department has approximately 80 miles of road. It's about half and half. About 50% of it is open ditches, and the other 50% is subdivisions that actually have curb and sidewalk. And so what we do is we have in our township right-of-ways, we are supposed to take care of all the maintenance of the road and the curbs, the ditches, and the trees that are planted in the right-of-way. We have thousands and thousands of trees that are in the right-of-way, and we try to keep ahead of the trimming of them, but that's futile. But as of a few years ago, like when we had the emerald ash, we had to contract with the contractor to take down well over 1,000 trees, and we just couldn't do it ourselves. We have a staff here, really about 7 guys that go out on the road, and 2 in the office here, and myself. So it's not like we have a huge staff for that many miles of road. But we're in charge of drainage, shouldering, road striping, signs. There's thousands and thousands of signs that have to be changed out, maintained, and so it's there's never a dull moment here. So.
Well, absolutely. As a highway commissioner, what is your role within this department?
I guess the role of a highway commissioner is mainly to run the department. You wear several different hats, I guess. To begin with, you basically hire and fire the staff, or you're in charge of the staffing of the township. Some days you have to have your arborist hat on. Other days we have flooding issues. We have to take care of. We're really a liaison for the residents to call who live in the unincorporated areas to take care of a lot of the issues that they have. A lot of it is, with when we have bad weather. Recently, we've had flooding, and so we kind of take care of that. But the highway commissioner is also responsible to put together his budget, to do the asphalt projects, to oversee the asphalt projects. For us, we have no gravel roads, but there are townships, obviously, that have many, many miles of gravel roads, but all ours are paved. So anything that has to do with highway maintenance, I guess the highway commissioner is the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do live in unincorporated Wheaton, as you know that, and we witness your incredible staff always, especially you see it firsthand when we have the bad snow, the flooding of recent, which we're going to talk about here shortly.
Sure.
So, what requests does the highway department often get, or from the residents?
It varies, obviously. More recently than not, it's every spring we go through. There are 40 miles of roads that have the open ditches. There's water in my ditch, and when you have a storm which produces 8 inches of rain in less than 3 weeks, obviously it seems like we've been getting more and more of those. But that's a big complaint. The ditches are wet. People need to realize the ditches are there. They're supposed to be wet. They're supposed to hold the water, and hopefully within 5 or 6 days of a big storm, the ditches will start to dry up. But that's one of the main things. The trees, we get a lot of concerns, complaints about dead trees, or especially when you have high winds.
Yeah, of course.
You know, of making sure that the trees aren't coming down across the road, and we've had our fair share of that.
Absolutely. How do you manage to have the staff on call day after day?
Well, it's kind of a thing that we put together along with many other people. We have a person that's on call 24/7. Mainly, it's myself, but we also have, for the other smaller things, say if a stop sign gets knocked down due to an accident, you have to have somebody on call to go out. That stop sign, you know, you cannot go without a stop sign. So we have somebody who will be on call, and they'll come in. We have stop signs made up. You know, you like to think you're prepared for everything, but when we have to go out because of limbs, storms, trees down across the road, and it doesn't even have to be a storm. We've had our fair share of beautiful days, and we'll get a call that a big limb just fell across the road. No wind, no nothing. It's kind of a freak thing. So, but myself and we have one other guy that's on call 24/7.
That's great. How does the highway department respond to severe weather like we've been seeing? We just talked a little bit about it, like the flooding. I've seen you deal with disasters like tornadoes and stuff.
Yeah, it's we try to do the best we can. In the winter, during our winter operations, we communicate a lot with, I know a lot of the guys over at the county highway, and we try to stay on top of the weather. And one thing I've learned as being a highway commissioner, believe it or not, no two storms are alike, and every snow is different. And it sounds hard to believe because, you know, obviously when you're home, snow is snow. But the conditions all vary on different storms, so you have to stay on top of that. If the pavement is warm, that'll have, you have to consider how much salt or de-icing material you use. If you're, you know, a few years ago we had several days of probably below zero weather, and then it warmed up for about 48 hours, and now the ground is froze solid, but then it started to rain. That was a real problem, not only for us, but for all the municipalities in the county. So you have, the minute the rain hits the road, it was freezing. So we try to stay on top of everything, and work with many other communities, including the county, you know, to try to stay on top of keeping these roads safe for the motoring public.
That's great. Well, you do a fantastic job here, and I'm witness to
thanks.
it. So, in what ways does the Township Highway Department function alongside with cities and the villages?
Right now, the townships are all 6 by 6 square miles in DuPage.
Right.
Townships have straight boundaries. Municipalities do not. So within DuPage County, there are 9 townships, and we obviously take care of the unincorporated roads. Now, one who lives in the city might say, well, what do we need townships for? Well, there's 80 miles of unincorporated road that don't belong to a municipality or to the state. The state obviously is your main roads like Route 53, Route 38, Route 64. Most of our township roads are subdivisions. Right now, we have, I believe it's 9 municipalities that we deal with that are in Milton Township, Wheaton and Glen Ellen being the 2 largest ones. So when it comes time to storm cleanup, resurfacing, we have numerous IGAs with a lot of intergovernmental agreements. Right now we have one going with Glendale Heights because we're resurfacing our portions of road, and then they'll piggyback on our project. And it's vice versa. Sometimes if Wheaton has their projects going on, we'll piggyback, for like a block or two of the streets that are in the township. So we would try to work together, and it sounds a little bit complicated, but it's really not. When you know what your boundaries are, and to work with the municipalities, I found, when we first got here, I worked closely with a lot of the fire districts, park districts, many of the municipalities. Some are a little easier than others to work with, but we just try to be the liaison for these folks like you and myself who live in the unincorporated areas. I want to say I think there's around 26,000 people that live in the unincorporated area of Milton Township, along with the 80 miles of road. To give you a quick comparison, I think Glen Ellen has approximately 80 to 82 miles of road, and we have around 80 miles of road. They have staffing of about 3 times of what we do, but we have a budget, and it's a novel idea. I don't spend any more than we take in. Kind of a novel idea with government.
I know you're fiscally conservative with our Milton Township money, and we really appreciate that, Gary.
Well, thanks.
How does the Highway Department maintain over 80 miles of road through the township and stay on target and schedule?
We do pretty good as far as our snow plowing. We have 7 guys that plow 80 miles. We have over 100 dead ends and cul-de-sacs, so that makes it a little bit challenging. We use primarily bigger trucks. We don't have a lot of the pickup trucks that a lot of the municipalities do, the smaller 1-tons. I try to hire maybe a couple snowbirds in the wintertime. That's becoming more and more difficult. I've relied on a couple, our past couple of gentlemen have been retired DuPage County Sheriff deputies. They know the township, and they'll help us. But, it gets to be a little bit tough during our winter operations, to do that. But, we stand up pretty good. I've had numerous compliments in years past from Glen Ellen village president, and called me up one day and actually gave us kudos for how we do and how we're able to keep the roads clear for our winter operations and stuff. But it does get challenging. We don't have enough manpower to do 2 shifts.
Right.
So when we go out, some of those big snowstorms, can be long days, 12, 14-hour days, and at some point you have to send the guys home, or you have to give them some rest. A lot of the municipalities have enough staffing to do 12 on, 12 off. No township that I know of in the county has enough staffing to do that, so we make do with what we have.
Well, you're definitely widely known throughout the county, and I've interviewed several major people in the county that deal with you on a monthly, weekly, yearly basis, and they just really talk well of you and how structured you are as far as timing and how quick you are to being on call. So
yeah,
I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate it. One of the things I'm pretty proud of is the amount of people that we have to work with, and all the different, like I said, a lot of different elected officials, a lot of municipality people. But something I'm pretty proud of is we were able to, the townships, to form an alliance, and I kind of put that together about a year ago, and that alliance included all 9 townships in DuPage, and what that did was it's several pages of an intergovernmental agreement, but that'll allow us to use, share equipment, manpower, training, you know, in a variety of different types of things. And, you know, years ago, it all used to be kind of a handshake and then, nod and, and whatever. But this is a formal thing that was put together. And, we get these big storms that roll through, and we've had two major ones that I can remember here in Milton. And I believe one was August 23rd of '07. We had the F1 tornado hit, and it was up by your area, the northern end of the township. But we spent 6 weeks of cleanup. But we had many other townships come in to help us, and that was the purpose of formally putting an agreement together. We've went down Milton and helped other communities when they've had misfortune of a bad storm. We were down in Hinsdale for a few days many years ago. So it's just good practice, I think, to be able to help out. And when we get help, it costs the township nothing, but it's a mutual aid type of response that myself and then I got the other highway commissioners to jump on board with this. And we put out a press release about it about a year ago, and nobody picked up on it. It was kind of a moot point, and but it's still something that we have and will depend on.
We'll have to get the word better out, because that inter-county agreement, just with the county, with the cities, that you've put together has really, really helped.
Well, and then this is our deal is strictly with the townships of the other 8, ourselves and the other 8 townships. So York has been kind enough to come in Downers Grove and Winfield when we had that big incident. But like I said, it was 6 weeks of cleanup, and we got it done. But we learned from that experience, and you kind of move on.
That's great. Yeah. Gary, how many vehicles and how much equipment does the highway department operate for its everyday responsibilities?
We have a lot of equipment, and for example, we have for our bigger trucks, we have 7 mainline snowplow trucks for our 80 miles, which is not a lot, but we have 2 spares. We have an aerial truck, a boom truck, to take care of our thousands of trees. We have 2 chippers, one newer one older one. We also have 3 one-ton trucks, which is considered like a Ford 550. Those get used a lot during the everyday operations of cleaning drains, signage, things like that. So we have a loader, John Deere loader, and a backhoe, which is used a lot. The cat backhoe is used a lot in the summertime for ditching. Right now we're out replacing numerous culverts under our streets before we get into our resurfacing program here in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Sure.
So one says, well, what do you need all that equipment for, and why can't you just borrow it from another township? Well, ironically, it's like anything. When it snows, everybody needs their snowplow truck. When you have a bad storm, chances are that if our aerial truck is going out, so is York Township's aerial truck or whatever, because the storms usually sweep across the DuPage County. So, and as far as, well, you can hire that out. I know some people have, said, well, you can hire that out. Well, you don't want to call a tree company at 1 o'clock in the morning to get together their crew of guys and bring out their aerial truck and a chipper truck. It would cost a fortune. So when we do that, we go out, trees come down across the road, we'll go out at night, we do the best we can, we'll cut them up, we trim them up. We usually don't bring the chipper out till daylight hours, because most people don't like to get woken up with the sound of a chipper at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
We barricade the street, make it safe. So, we do utilize a lot of different equipment, but the other townships, like I said, during the summer, they're using their stuff, so it's not like I can wait 2 or 3 weeks until another government agency gets done using theirs and then, get ours. I mean, a lot of the times, we have to get this stuff done in a prompt manner. I'm sure somewhere in your talking with you showed folks the amount of money that the taxpayers pay into a township, I believe, which is 1.63%. Out of that, half of it basically comes to the highway department. The other half goes to the supervisor and to the assessor's office. So really what you're giving the highway department is less than 1% of your real estate tax bill. And the folks that are in the municipalities, they might say, well, why am I paying township highway taxes to the road district?
Right.
Well, what they don't understand, and there's people that you might want to ask, but it's including our supervisor, but it's called a half-rate tax. So we don't even see the money. It's on their tax bill, but they get about 40% or 40 or a little bit more percent of that money back to the municipality. It's kind of confusing. It's way above what we don't get. We don't see the money. It's distributed at the county level through the county clerk's office, and maybe you could go talk to her and she could explain it better. But so it's called the half-rate tax. A lot of that money is given back to the municipalities, and the other part of it is, whether you know it or not, you're driving on a township road at some point. So, I think we get a lot done for less than 1% of your real estate tax bill.
Hey Gary, can you tell us about your role as the president of Township Highway Commissioners Association of DuPage, and how you keep the 9 townships of DuPage coordinated to keep DuPage functional? Also, if you could, go into a little bit about the whole COVID-19 thing as well.
Well, as far as being the president of the Highway Commissioners at DuPage, that was an honor that was given to me or by the other 8 highway commissioners. It's something that is voted on, and I've been the highway commissioner ever since Mr. Jedlovic, who was the president for many, many, many years. And when he retired, he thought that I would be a good fit, and so all it is you're kind of a liaison with the other highway commissioners, and it pays nothing. It's just a thing that you try to maintain good communication with the other townships, and with our alliance that we put together, it worked out very well. So I've been the president for a little over 6 years, and I'm honored to try to do what I can to help. The COVID thing's been challenging, obviously, for everybody, but I feel pretty good here at Milton Township Highway Department. We haven't lost one day due to that. We had to select a few of our staff that came in every day, and people still want permits to do all types of construction. As we know, the construction was deemed essential by the governor. So, but you have to be here in order to get permits for people to do the work. So, we did change up how we had to do things. We had to lock down the building. There was nobody allowed in the building. We've learned how to do some things, obviously by email. We put a box out front, and it's worked out pretty well. But I'm pretty happy to say a lot of people, have the option of doing their jobs from home. But a tree comes down across the road, it's kind of hard to do that from home. So we are the highway department, and we have had somebody here every day from the beginning of this COVID thing, and I'm pretty happy that, knock on wood, we're all been healthy, and hopefully this problem will be over soon.
Wow. This has been John Monino with Milton Township and the Township officials, here with Gary Muehlfelt, our Highway Commissioner. And we look forward to talking to you again. Maybe we can set up another time for updates in
Absolutely.
the
It was
future.
nice chatting with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.